Like to call the committee of the whole portion of the meeting for January 25th to order, please. We're going to start by giving the oath of office to Mr. Hickey. You want me to hold it?
Yeah, I'm on.
Front center. Front center. Do I need American flag right now?
All right, raise your right hand. I, Michael Hickey,
I, Michael Hickey,
do solemnly swear or affirm
solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
of the State of New Jersey,
of the State of New Jersey,
and that I would bear true faith
that I will bear true faith
and allegiance to the same
and allegiance to the same,
and to the governments established
and to the governments established
in the United States
in the United States
and this state,
and this state,
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
so help me God.
so help me God.
I, Michael Hickey,
I, Michael Hickey,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will possess the qualifications prescribed by law
that I will possess the qualifications prescribed by law
for the office of
for the office of
member of a Board of Education,
member of the Board of Education,
and that I will faithfully,
and that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly
and justly
perform all the duties of
perform all the duties of
that office
that office
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability,
So help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Mr. Brennan, roll call, please.
Ms. Cherney,
Here.
Mr. Hickey,
Here.
Mr. Iamonte,
Here.
Ms. Levy,
Here.
Mr. Moore.
Here.
Mr. Quelch,
Here.
Mr. Zawicki,
Here.
Ms. Tarnowski,
Here.
and Mr. O'Brien.
Here.
All right, we have a quorum.
Okay. We'll move into committee discussions now. First up is Finance Committee, Mr. Quelch.
Good evening, everyone. Finance, Building and Ground Transportation met on January 20th. Regarding buildings and grounds, the phase one of the pre-K toilet project at the Dunphy School is complete and closed out. And we are ready to schedule the second phase on June 18th of this year. Regarding the HVAC projects from around the district, one of the most important that has been in the works for the past year is all the new control upgrades, which allows better stabilization to our heating and cooling systems, which is in its final stages and being completed as we speak. The solar project at the high school is completed and we are generating power. Donahue and Brackman both are in final stages and they'll be done in the next few weeks. Another big upgrade, the high school sound system upgrade and is in progress. Well, two actually. The football field is complete and the auditorium system is in progress. And for finance, we're going to take advantage of a bond refunding, which will save the district approximately $60,000. And that's all I have for tonight.
Any questions for Finance, Buildings and Grounds? Thank you. Mr. Hickey, Education, please.
Hello, Education Committee met on January 18th at 8:30 a.m. First off, I'd like to welcome our new members, Mr. Iamonte and Mrs. Levy, and then Mrs. Cherney has returned to the committee as well. We're going to be putting up several motions today. Most of them are routine, but one that specifically is a big one for us is a program called Cardinex. And what that does is that's a software solution for us to be able to do our master schedule in a much more timely and expedient fashion. So instead of us spending about 200 hours of guidance counselor hours, man hours over the summer, we're going to be able to do this all with this software, and it's going to be backed up by the company Cardnex has basically a consulting group. That way we'll have our schedule out by June. Basically a 95, 98% solution at that point. And then over the summer, guidance counselors can spend their time, instead of building the schedule, making any fixes or correcting or doing just check-ins with students over the summer to prepare them for the upcoming year. That also helps the teachers because then they can prepare their classrooms, their curriculums, their lesson plans well in advance of the upcoming year. And lastly, it helps families because now we all know who's going to be our teacher next year, what the student schedule looks like. And if there's anything that we want to change as parents or our students want to change, we can address that over the summer. So there's no idle time the first couple of weeks of school, waiting outside of the guidance office to try and fix any issues with the schedule. The price tag for the system overall is going to be $26,000 per year. And that rolls because it's comes with the consulting. The people that are hired by Cardnex are former educators, specifically who have worked in guidance or in administration. And so they can help us get to better solutions with our schedule because these people specialize in schedules. What they advertise, but we know to be better, is that you can get 90% of your first choice schedule. 90% of the students will get their first choice schedule right off the bat. So that's a huge win for the district for what doesn't seem like a huge price tag. Otherwise, does anybody else have any questions?
I have one. How
What's
do we
up?
know that it fits in the budget?
So basically with the price tag, the guidance department will check in with Steve or through their chain of command, basically through Barbieri, and they figured out that that will fit the budget. And then Steve works his magic on the back end to make sure that the numbers fit. So he's
no
going to
other
transfer.
No other programs will be canceled in place of this or anything like that.
No, I think the source of the funds, and you can probably speak to it, come from some kind of breakage somewhere else where we've saved money and efficiencies. Specifically, maybe $60,000 where we just did the refinancing of the debt.
Okay.
It's one area but that comes over the life of that. I don't know. Do you want to speak to the specifics?
That's part of it, Mike. It also too with now's the time with our CARES Act money that we have. What happens is it creates breakage, as Mike said, that we previously budgeted for. When that money wasn't available and suddenly became available, we shifted some things around. So the time was right to actually take advantage of it.
So is this like a yearly thing that we're going to be paying for every single year for this, or
There
is
is-
it for a short amount of time?
Correct. It is a licensure program. So this is going to be our first year trying it. And then based on that, like we do with every online program or online support system that we have, we'll monitor it, see if it's effective, and then either renew it or not renew it.
Yeah, so we're not locked into an obligation.
Okay.
So that may be something we discuss down the road, is like to maybe lower the price even further. But Dr. Purpuride did a great job getting them down to the $26,000 price. So that wasn't the final offer, or that was the final offer after some haggling and work. So
Any other questions for education? Governance, the newly formed governance committee met on January 17th. We discussed the modifications to the schedule for this school year because of the snow days. We will be voting on that calendar tonight. And tonight we'll also be voting on the 22-23 calendar. The biggest change that we have from previous years is that half days that were dedicated for professional development are now going to be delayed openings, which should be helpful. Any questions on governance? Next up is health, safety, and technology. Mr. Moore.
Health, safety, and technology met. We discussed several topics throughout. Under technology, some of the continuing upgrades of the ViewSonic boards in schools, upgrading the networks, and continuing to monitor the network for any cybersecurity threats against the district. And security, we discussed some of the ongoing Alice refresher training for the staff. For all the members in the schools, and we're looking at also some security guard concerns and see where we need to review the security guard policy and possibly expand or make our policy better, as well as their security, their schedules and procedures that they have to deal with interacting with students. As far as health, we discussed some of the ongoing changes with the health department guidelines with CDC and everything.
Okay. Any questions for HST? Thank you. Personnel Committee met on January 20th. We discussed the new role of Supervisor of Special Education that is being voted on tonight. We had 82 special ed students move in during the 21-21 school year, 36 preschool students aged in or were referred during the 20/21 school year. 64 special ed students moved in between July 1st, 2021 and January 17th, 2022. And 51 preschool students were aged or referred from July 1st through October 29th. So there's been a large influx of special ed students into the district, which has necessitated the new supervisor of special education role. We will also be voting tonight to hire a pre-K special ed teacher and multiple after-school assistance programs being staffed and added. Any questions on personnel? Okay. I'd like to invite Dr. Beck up from the Citizens Advisory Committee.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Scott Beck. I am the chair of the Citizens Committee. We meet monthly to discuss topics relevant for the community as a whole and act as a liaison between the board and the administration and the community. This month, our meeting was shorter than normal, which was nice. And so I'll be short up here. First, we spoke about our upcoming strategic planning event. This is an event that is held once every 5 years, where the community as a whole has an opportunity to speak to the board and to the administration and voice your opinions of goals, where we're doing well and where we're not doing well. It's not a session that is, air out all the garbage, if you will. It is help the district move forward. This was done 3 years ago, and the district met or exceeded their 5-year goals. So now we're going to, instead of sitting back, anybody who's at these meetings often knows the administration, the board wants to push our district forward. So instead of sitting back for the next 2 years on goals that were already achieved, we are going to hold this event again. It's a series of 3 events, 3 evenings. The first one will be Thursday, February 3rd, then Tuesday, March 8th, and then Wednesday, April 27th. There will be childcare available for the younger children, where they'll have STEM teachers there to make it fun, have some fun activities. There will be refreshments there for the parents and the citizens of the community who come out to help this move forward. The last one, there was approximately 180 people at the first night, and then it kind of pared down to about 85. So we're hoping to, meet or exceed those numbers again this year. So everybody in this room, I encourage you guys to come out and help with that. There will be a virtual option this year because of everything happening, although you're probably going to be more effective in person. So with our committee, we discussed these events and how we can, get the word out to our senior communities, to everybody in the district, in the township, to come and be part of this event. Our next topic focused on the Edwards School, and as you all know by now, the consensus is that is a liability to the district and the town. So unfortunately, it does have to be demolished. That was voted on by the board and approved at this point. And demolition should begin in the summertime for that. The district, the township, everybody knows the history of the school. They plan on keeping some of the architecture. They plan on donating some of the artifacts, we'll call them, to local businesses. They are going to partner with local businesses to help with this project. And the goal of the district is to keep some of the landscaping, the parking, some of the architecture. They want to potentially, and this is something that will be discussed, and input from the community as a whole is always welcome. They want to turn the property into possibly a park with a pavilion and amphitheater. That way the school can still use it for dance, for art, for shows. The township could use it as well, to bring the whole township together. And that's really all we discussed this week. I want to thank Mr. Brennan and President O'Brien for their input on the Edwards School. They are a wealth of knowledge with this, of course. And we, as a community, the Citizens Advisory Committee, we are not having a meeting in February, so we'll be back in March where we're going to discuss several topics, academic achievements, our special education program that Mr. O'Brien was just speaking about, since we've had such a big influx of students into the community. And that's pretty much all I have. If anybody has any questions for me. Great. All right. Well, thank you very much. I hope to see all you guys out at the strategic planning event.
Thank you, Dr. Beck. Okay. Can I have a motion to adjourn committee of the whole, please?
So moved.
Second.
Excuse me, Ms. Cherney,
Yes.
Mr. Hickey,
Yes.
Mr. Iamonte,
Yes.
Ms. Levy, Mr. Moore,
Yes.
Mr. Quelch,
Yes.
Mr. Zawicki,
Yes.
Ms. Tarnowski,
Yes.
and Mr. O'Brien.
Yes.
All right, our committee of the whole is adjourned at 6:20.
I'd like to call to order the regular meeting for the Barnegat Board of Education for January 25th, 2022.
The notice of this meeting has been forwarded to the Asbury Park Press, the Beacon, and Tap Into Barnegat, and placed in the foyer of each Barnegat Township school in Barnegat Township Municipal Building, and has been filed with the Barnegat Township Municipal Clerk in conjunction with the Open Public Meetings Act. That'll roll call. Ms. Cherney,
Here.
Mr. Hickey,
Here.
Mr. Iamonte,
Here.
Ms. Levy,
Here.
Mr. Moore,
Here.
Mr. Quelch,
Here.
Mr. Zawicki,
Here.
Ms. Tarnowski,
Here.
and Mr. O'Brien.
Here.
Okay, we're in our regular session. Thanks.
Okay, stand for the flag salute, please. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the
Republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Item number 5, can I please have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Ms. Cherney,
Yes.
Mr. Hickey,
Yes.
Mr. Iamonte,
Yes.
Mr. Levy,
Yes.
sorry. Darn it. Mr. Moore,
Yes.
Mr. Quelch,
Yes.
Mr. Zawicki,
Yes.
Ms. Tarnowski,
Yes.
and Mr. O'Brien.
Yes.
All right, motion's carry.
Okay. We have an agenda. Item number 6, and please have a motion to approve the minutes from the December 21st meeting and the regular session and executive session minutes from January 3rd meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Ms. Cherney,
Yes.
Mr. Hickey,
Yes on 1, abstain on 2 and 3.
Mr. Iamonte,
Yes.
Ms. Levy,
Yes.
Mr. Moore,
Yes.
Mr. Quelch,
Yes.
Mr. Zawicki,
Yes.
Ms. Tarnowski,
Yes.
Mr. O'Brien.
Yes.
Right, motion's carry.
Now we'd like to hear from our student representative, Maya Foltz.
First, I would like to thank everyone for allowing me to be here tonight and to speak. This month, the big event that we had was Poetry Out Loud, which was a success. We got a first place in all of our winners. We currently don't have anything planned now because it's midterms, but within the next month, the big event that we're having is the winter formal. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we'd like to hear from Barnegat Education Association Liaison, Ms. Sue Mayo.
Thank you, Mr. O'Brien. Board of Ed members, Dr. Latwis. The BA will be hosting Optical Academy in March at the Barnegat High School, so please be on the lookout for the flyer so you can sign up for that. BEA is also, again, sponsoring the Mike Bruno Scholarship. The scholarship was created by the teachers and colleagues at Barnegat High School to honor Mr. Bruno's contributions to education. The recipient of this scholarship must be the daughter or son of a Barnegat Education Association member and be a full-time high school student of senior status who is in good standing with a minimum GPA of 3.0. Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Latwis, please.
All right, we will start off with this month's upstanders. If Mrs. Purpureye can come to the dais.
Good evening, everyone. Barnegat is a place where we believe in a positive school climate, family togetherness, and community involvement. And it's the marriage of these three principles that defines the Upstander program. To unite Barnegat as a district, we recognize students aligned with the Bengal Pride acronym. And this month, for the letter A, our students have demonstrated acceptance. So to reward these students, we're granting them with a gift card for a family meal from a local restaurant. And tonight's gift certificates are courtesy of Raccaniello's Pizzeria to reinforce the idea of a family meal and family togetherness. I'm honored tonight to recognize 6 upstanding individuals for their commitment to making Barnegat a better place. When you hear your name, please join Board President Mr. O'Brien and Superintendent Dr. Latwis in celebrating you by coming to receive your plaque and gift certificate. So first in absentia, we have Miss Kylie Park, who can't be with us tonight. Kylie's a sophomore at BHS. She is a kind and caring student who's hardworking and always striving to improve herself. And she goes out of her way to make others feel accepted, no matter what, inside and outside of the classroom. And we'll be recognizing her next month. And we also are recognizing tonight our 8th grader from Brackman Middle School, Maximo Morici. Is he in attendance? Okay, I will be reading to celebrate him also in absentia. I do believe we're expecting him to come though. Maximo is a kind and big-hearted student, and he ensures that people feel comfortable in class. He's open to meeting new people and is all around a great person, and he's very deserving of this award for acceptance. Next, we are recognizing 6th grader at Horabel Intermediate School, Michael Merlin. Michael is a very kind person that has stood up for other students on several occasions, whether he's close with them or not. He makes his peers feel comfortable all of the time. He is warm and he is welcoming to everyone, and he has demonstrated excellent morals. Overall, Michael is a great example of what it means to be accepting of others and should be commended for this trait. And next, we are recognizing our 4th grader at Donahue, Keelan Bodenheimer. Alan is an exceptionally sweet and kind student. He exceeds our expectations when it comes to the trait of acceptance and understanding. He often puts others before himself, and he's the first to walk over to a peer and ask if they would like to join his group if he thinks the student may be feeling left out or lonely. He accepts and appreciates others' differences. He is always willing to lend a helping hand, and we're so proud of him. Keep up the amazing work. Next, we will recognize kindergartner at Collins, Miss Liana England. Liana demonstrates the character trait of acceptance in many ways. Like a ray of sunshine, she brightens the day of everyone she encounters. She is caring to all of her fellow students, and she helps others without ever hesitating or seeking recognition. Liana accepts every individual for who they are and always treats everyone in the same kind way. She's a true upstander and one who practices acceptance every single day. Congratulations, Liana. And last but not least, we recognize our pre-K student from Dunphy, Mr. Colton Clifton. Colton is so kind, compassionate, and inclusive, and he's always making sure his friends are okay when they are sad. He is everyone's friend, and he has grown so much, and we're so proud of him. We're proud of all of our upstanding students this month, so thank you guys so much, and you'll take a
Next up, I will briefly cover the HIB report card for the 2021 school year. Very proud to announce, and I think this is a big testament to each of the teams in the buildings, the administration, as well as Mrs. Purpurai, whose department leads the HIB investigations. Last year, we get a rating 0 to 78, 78 being the highest score you can get. 3 of our buildings scored a perfect 78. Dunphy, Collins, and Donahue. And our other 3 buildings, Horbelt Middle School and High School, all scored a 72, 74, and a 73 respectively, which is a very strong score. So congratulations and great job to those departments and administrative teams in the different buildings for your HIB investigative responsibilities. A couple highlights, and then I will invite Mr. Germano. So if you'd like to, Mr. Germano, start making your way up to the dais. Just some highlights. This past month, we honored 6 students that participated in the Patriots Pen and the Voice of Democracy contests that are done through the VFW. There's different essay topics and whatnot that students have to submit. And then out of that pool of individuals, they place. And we had a number of our students internally out of Horbelt. We had Kylie Kohler and Alyssa Rebello. At ROBMS, we had Catherine Warren. And then in the Voice of Democracy, we had Allison Zojak take first, Jesse Hudland, and Julia Brown. So congratulations to all of those students. The Barnegat Township School District also expanded our therapy dog program to include Coconut, which is a yellow Labrador retriever. Coconut will be visiting students and staff with her handler on Wednesday mornings. As Dr. Beck talked about a little bit before, we have our first strategic planning night coming up on February 3rd, 2022 at 6 p.m. right here at the right here at BHS in the cafeteria. In the media center, we will be having childcare will be provided. We're going to be doing something called Gross Science, where we will have a live bug show. So we are definitely trying to make it fun for the students to come out and participate in that, while the parents can participate in strategic planning. It is 3 nights overall strategic planning. The first night, we go over identifying strengths and weaknesses of the district. And it's a really wonderful opportunity to get involved and to be part of some of the goal setting for the next 5 years of the district. So I would definitely encourage people to come out. And a big thanks to Dolce and Mama Roses, which will be providing refreshments that night. And as part of that process, they will also be raffling off a $75 gift card, respectively, to each of the locations. So I'm really looking forward to that night. I think that'll be, truly a fun night, as well as a productive night. Last but not least, we had a Rackman update that I wanted to highlight. Big thank you to the Ocean County Sheriff's Department and Officer Warren for visiting the ROBMS Dart Club to talk about her job and introduced her two canine dogs, Finn and Indy. So a big thank you to the Ocean County Sheriff's Department for visiting us. And with that being said, I would like to bring Mr. Germano up to the dais. So Mr. Germano, please.
Hello, everybody. Just wanted to thank everybody for coming out tonight. It's with great pride and great pleasure that we get to celebrate some of the finest athletes we have here in Barnegat. In the past, we have had girls cheerleaders and girls dance team that have won a state title. We have had a boys team win the first ever NJSIAA state title. And this year, our girls volleyball team was the first female team to ever win an NJSIAA state title. So congratulations. I remember when we were in preseason, I was talking to Coach Jennings and I was asking her, so what do you think? How the girls are excited. They've been working hard. They've been so close so many times. They've made it to the finals twice, this third round once. I said, she goes, we keep knocking on the door. And she told me before the season started, she said, this team has the potential to beat anybody they play if they're on their game. And that was always a concern. She was always like, if we're ready to play today, we have the talent in this room to win. And they did it. They went in every night and and then they did it here at the big house, which was even better. They win it at home. We got a couple of real quick announcements, and then we're going to bring the kids up. Coach Jennings was named B South Coach of the Year for volleyball. Atria Marino and Avery Acone, where are you? Come on up. They were named All B South. Is Robbie Ann here? Robbie Ann Erskine, come on up. She was named Honorable Mention All B South. And then Patria was named All Group 2 Third Team, which means out of everybody in Group 2 in the entire state of New Jersey, she was selected as one of the 8 girls statewide. So that is a huge compliment and just a small taste of what we do here. I truly believe one of the reasons they were so successful is because of the leadership that we had on this team and the great coaches that we have here, and Coach Monick and Coach Jennings. And at this time, we'd like to bring the girls up for a big photo op that you truly deserve. Come on up, girls. And then we have a little surprise for you. Mr. Toddings, would you take a picture, please, for me? I would like to do it. I never miss a photo op. No. Best part of the job. Your fall 2021 NJSI South Group 2 state champions. Valencia, why don't you show everybody what they look like? We got the girls. So why don't you model it up for us? I want to thank the Board of Education for their generosity, and the township, the school board, and the Dr. Lawis and everybody bought all the girls' championship jackets that they so richly deserve. So, girls, come on over and grab yours. Thank you very much. Right in here. Yours was on top, Valencia, so I was like, hey, I'm going to show her first.
Look at the chairs.
Okay, thank you very much. Sure. Okay.
She's my neighbor. I've known her since she was a baby.
Okay. Not to beat a dead horse, but strategic planning is coming up. And really want the community to participate and be part of this. The last strategic planning session is what started to get me involved with the school district more and be part of it. And I think it's a great opportunity for everybody to participate and help drive the direction of our district. We still need substitute teachers. So Kelly Services, which is linked on our website, I assume. Link to the website, please. If you know anybody who wants to be a substitute teacher, apply. Still need bus drivers. So bus drivers, please join the district. Congratulations to the volleyball team and all the upstanders. And then I wanted to mention the scholarship breakfast that we had this morning, which was a great event. And I'd like to thank all the organizers and donors because that's a great event, and the scholarship awards are a fantastic opportunity for our kids and our community. Thank you very much. Can I please have a motion to enter public session?
So moved.
Second. Barnegat Township Board of Education appreciates and welcomes public comment, advice, and suggestions, especially when it is intended to assist the Board of Education. Please feel free to speak to the board during the public session. Comments and discussion will be limited to 1 5-minute period per individual unless requested by the chairperson to continue on a point of clarification. Public comment at special meetings of the board shall be related to the call of the meeting in accordance with the Board of Education policy. Each participant must be recognized by the presiding officer and must preface their comments by an announcement of their name, address, and group affiliation if appropriate. Your anticipated courtesy to the members of the public and board is appreciated. And with that, and yeah, I should have done the roll call first, right? Sorry about that. Ms. Cherney,
Yes.
Mr. Hickey,
Yes.
Mr. Iamonte,
Yes.
Ms. Levy,
Yes.
Mr. Moore,
Yes.
Mr. Quelch,
Yes.
Mr. Zawicki,
Yes.
Mrs. Tarnowski,
Yes.
and Mr. O'Brien.
Yes.
All right, we are in public session.
Okay. Does anybody in the room like to speak? I see Mr. Fedorsik is online and would like to speak. Please go ahead, Mr. Fedorsik.
Good evening, George Fedorsik, 131 Rockwood
I think you're
Boulevard.
muted, sir.
Can you hear me now?
Stand by, please. Give it a test, sir.
Test, test.
We could hear him.
Coming out somewhere.
You guys hear me yet? Any luck yet? I think you guys might be able to hear me now, but I can't hear you.
That's exactly what's happening.
I'll try it.
Test?
Can you hear us?
There we go. There it is.
I can hear you.
And we can hear you. Please go ahead.
Okay, George Fedorsik, 131 Rockwood Boulevard.
You only have about 5 seconds of your 5 minutes left.
That's fine. I'll use another 10 minutes. For education, motion number 2, I just wanted to know, is that, at this point, is that considered a promotion? It's in reference to the special ed supervisor position.
Personnel committee? you're
Or
talking-
personnel, I'm sorry. Personnel item number 2.
Yes, that would be a promotion.
Okay, as far as the instructional coach, that position that's being vacated, is that looking to, are we going to be looking to refill that?
Correct. At this time, that is what we're looking to do.
Right. Do you have a timeline?
That position would, if obviously the approval goes through tonight, that position would be posted probably tomorrow.
All right, personnel item number 22, the Kelly services that President O'Brien just spoke in reference to. Can you speak to what the rate increase is?
Sure. While I'm pulling up the rate increase, what I can do is kind of go through the process. So over the last couple of months, we've asked Kelly Services to provide us with comparable rates for neighboring districts. Right now, our fill rates are still hovering less than 50%. And fill rates would be, just to explain that, would be for every vacant position, how many times can they fill that with a substitute teacher? So like I said, we're still averaging, I think, below the 50% threshold. So we were looking to try to make sure that we were fair market value with the other districts that they produced for us. And the rate increases were in line with those recommendations. So right now, what I can tell you is that the daily sub has increased to $110. I believe the previous cost, I want to say, was 85 or 90. The building perm sub is at 124. That was previously at 110. The daily teacher surge rate is at 125. I believe that stayed the same. Surge rate would be if we know we're going to have a number of staff out on a particular day, we would then identify that as a surge day that would get marketed at a larger area, and then try to draw subs from that would normally typically sub in other districts would then come down here. Long-term teacher under 21 days, over 21 days remained the same. And the rest of them, I believe, also remained the same. So it was really just targeting the daily teacher rate, which we wanted to become obviously marketable with everybody else. And the building perm went up slightly as well.
All right. Understood. Do we feel that utilizing right now the outside agency is still more beneficial than bringing it back into the district to handle?
I do think having an outside vendor helps us predominantly in the area of marketing and trying to fill those positions. So when you look at companies like Kelly Services or other popular companies like ESS, they have entire departments that are really meant to go out there and just try to promote these positions through job fairs or through visiting colleges. So, I think that's a lot more robust than what we could do. As far as the daily management of it, I don't necessarily think an outside agency versus inside would have any more or any less success. Right now, there's obviously a sub shortage across the state. I mean, we've seen some districts that have, that are charging or that are providing more than double what we're paying daily to try to bring subs in. So, I do think that our low fill rate, to be fair, is probably some things that could be a level, could be an area of improvement with Kelly Services, which we've been talking to them about. But I also think that this is something combating, really a much larger problem. So, but to answer, sorry, long-winded response, but to answer your question, yes, I still believe it's beneficial to contract with an outside agency.
Thank you. That's all.
Thank you, sir. Anybody else in the room or online? Okay. Can I have a motion to close public session, please?
So moved.
Yes.
Mr. Hickey,
Yes.
Mr. Iamonte,
Yes.
Ms. Levy,
Yes.
Mr. Moore,
Yes.
Mr. Quelch,
Yes.
Mr. Zawicki,
Yes.
Ms. Tarnowski,
Yes.
Mr. O'Brien.
Yes.
All right, our public session is now closed at 6:48.
So the finance and B&G section of the motions, we're going to do a little bit differently than normal. So the first one up, can I please have a motion for items 1 through 7?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion on that block vote? Okay. Ms. Cherney,
Yes.
Mr. Hickey,
Yes.
Mr. Iamonte,
Yes.
Ms. Levy,
Yes.
Mr. Moore,
Yes.
Mr. Quelch,
I am a yes on everything except for one item on the bills list, which is 22-2819.
that's a no on that one.
Just
or-
on that one line item, yes.
What's the purchase order number?
22-2819. Did I
Yep.
get that right?
Yes.
2819.
Mr. Zawicki,
Yes.
Ms. Tarnowski,
Yes.
Mr. O'Brien.
Yes.
All right, motions carry.
Okay. Item number 8, pursuant to the state regulations, I'd like to open the floor for a public hearing for the bond refunding ordinance that Mr. Colch spoke about in his earlier remarks. We'll be saving about $65,000 to $70,000 in this refunding. This is not new debt. It is just refunding existing debt. Does anybody in the building like to speak or ask any questions? Anybody online? Okay, I'd like to close the floor then. Will you please have a motion for item number 8?
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion on that? Ms. Cherney,
Yes.
Mr. Hickey,
Yes.
Mr. Iamonte,
Yes.
Ms. Levy,
Yes.
Mr. Moore,
Yes.
Mr. Quelch,
Yes.
Mr. Zawicki,
Yes.
Ms. Tarnowski,
Yes.
and Mr. O'Brien.
Yes,
All right, motion carries.
okay. And a motion for item number 9, so this approval, second reading of the bond refunding.
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion on that? Ms. Cherney,
Yes.
Mr. Hickey,
Yes.
Mr. Iamonte,
Yes.
Ms. Levy,
Yes.
Mr. Moore,
Yes.
Mr. Quelch,
Yes.
Mr. Zawicki,
Yes.
Ms. Tarnowski,
Yes.
Mr. O'Brien.
Yes.
All right, motion carries.
Agenda section number 14, Education Committee motions. Can I please have a motion for items 1 through 5?
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion on that, on those motions? Okay, Ms. Cherney,
Yes.
Mr. Hickey,
Yes.
Mr. Iamonte,
Yes.
Ms. Levy,
Yes.
Mr. Moore,
Yes.
Mr. Quelch,
Yes.
Mr. Zawicki,
Yes.
Ms. Tarnowski,
Yes.
and Mr. O'Brien.
Yes.
All right, motions carry.
Item number 15 is for information purposes only, items number 1 and 2. Governance, I'd like to, we have to choose an alternate delegate, delegate and alternate, which we put off till from the last meeting for item number 1.
So I wanted to be the primary for that one, if you wouldn't
That's right,
mind,
that's
Mr.
where we're
President.
at now. Yep, and Mr. Coulter were the alternate, I think. Yep, okay. So motion number 1 is to approve Mr. Hickey as the delegate and Mr. Quelch as the alternate for legislative chairperson. And then items number 2 and 3, can I please have a motion for 1 through 3?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, any further discussion on that? Okay, Ms. Cherney,
Saying yes to 1 and 3 and no to number 2.
Mr. Hickey,
Yes.
Mr. Iamonte,
Yes.
Ms. Levy,
Yes.
Mr. Moore,
Yes.
Mr. Quelch.
Yes to 1 and 2, no to 3.
Mr. Zawicki,
Yes.
Ms. Tarnowski,
Yes.
Mr. O'Brien.
Yes.
Motion's carry.
Can I please have a motion for items 1 through 25 for personnel?
So moved.
So moved.
Any further discussion on personnel? Ms. Gurney,
Yes.
Mr. Hickey,
Yes.
Mr. Iamonte,
Yes.
Ms. Levy,
Yes.
Mr. Moore,
Yes.
Mr. Quelch,
Yes.
Mr. Zawicki,
Yes.
Ms. Tarnowski,
Yes.
Mr. O'Brien.
Yes.
Motion's carry.
Can I please have a motion to move into executive session?
So moved.
Second.
Ms. Cherney,
Yes.
Mr. Hickey, Mr. Iamonte,
Yes.
Ms. Levy,
Yes.
Mr. Moore,
Yes.
Mr. Quelch,
Yes.
Mr. Zawicki,
Yes.
Ms. Tarnowski,
Yes.
Mr. O'Brien.
Yes.
All right, we're in executive at 6:54.
An executive session, please.
So moved.
All right. Ms. Cherney,
Yes.
Mr. Hickey,
Yes.
Mr. Iamonte,
Yes.
Ms. Levy,
Yes.
Mr. Moore, Mr. Quelch,
Yes.
Mr. Zawicki,
Yes.
Ms. Tarnowski,
Yes.
and Mr. O'Brien.
Yes.
All right, we're out of executive session at 7:58.
Okay. New business number one. Can I please have a motion to approve the HIB report?
So moved.
Second.
All right. Any further discussion on that HIB report? All right, Ms. Cherney,
Yes.
Mr. Hickey,
Yes.
Mr. Iamonte,
Yes.
Ms. Levy,
Yes.
Mr. Quelch,
Yes.
I'm sorry, Mr. Moore, Mr. Zawicki,
Yes.
Ms. Tarnowski,
Yes.
Mr. O'Brien.
Yes.
All right, motion carries.
And please have a motion for item number two, the special education placement settlement agreement.
All right, we have a motion to approve the settlement agreement between Barnegat Township Board of Education and petitioners AC.
So moved.
Any further discussion? Not that we really have any, but on that settlement agreement. Ms. Cherney,
Yes.
Mr. Hickey,
Yes.
Mr. Iamonte,
Yes.
Ms. Levy,
Yes.
Mr. Moore, Mr. Quelch,
Yes.
Mr. Zawicki,
Yes.
Ms. Tarnowski,
Yes.
Mr. O'Brien.
Yes.
All right, motion's carried.
Okay. And can I please have a motion for item number three, separation agreement for employee 5262?
So moved.
Second.
Ms. Cherney,
Yes.
Mr. Hickey,
Yes.
Mr. Iamonte,
Yes.
Ms. Levy,
Yes.
Mr. Moore, Mr. Quelch,
Yes.
Mr. Zawicki,
Yes.
Ms. Tarnowski,
Yes.
Mr. O'Brien.
Yes.
All right, motion carries.
Okay, can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All right. Ms. Cherney,
Yes.
Mr. Hickey,
Yes.
Mr. Iamonte,
Yes.
Ms. Levy,
Yes.
Mr. Moore, Mr. Quelch,
Yes.
Mr. Zawicki,
Yes.
Ms. Tarnowski,
Yes.
and Mr. O'Brien.
Yes.
All right, we're adjourned at 8 PM.